Hello everyone. This lecture is for middle schoolers. So we will do factoring, or you can give it a name, or it is already known as middle term factor. And the middle term factoring polynomial is for three terms is denoted as ax square plus bx plus c. Okay, so let's do an example so we can understand what does these notation means. So on here the first term is ax square, right? So first on here you have a coefficient and the coefficient is a. So we have an invisible a here, and the value of that is 1. So a equals to 1 here, and as in multiplication, 1 will always give you whatever you multiplied that with, so that value. So this is why 1 is not written here, but as you are a middle schooler, I'm just explaining that, right? So you have ax square but for this term you have 1x square, right? Then you have bx. So on here the value of b is 8, and then you have x, right? And then on here you have c. The value of c is on here -9. Okay, so and this is a's value. On here a is 1. Now let's do the middle term. So when you start doing a middle term, first of all you need to multiply these two terms, the first term and the last term. But before that you need to have the formation as ax square plus bx plus c in this order. So first of all, the first highest exponent, so exponent is this, right? So x with a power, that's the exponent, and this is the coefficient. Remember that. So this is coefficient and this is exponent. So on here we have 1x square or only x squared, that is fine, plus bx. So as b has a value of 8, so b is replaced with 8, and then we have x, and then we have plus c, and on here the value of c is -9. Okay, let's move on. So first you multiply these two terms, and you have to do it in a mental math, but you can write it down in a worksheet or somewhere where it will not gonna interfere with your math, but you can always look into that numbers to see you are doing everything correctly. So on here you have 9x square, right, with these two terms multiplication, and now you have at the middle 8x, right? So you have to distribute 8 in such a way that the addition and subtraction will get 8x, but if you do the multiplication of those two terms you will get 9x square, right? So how we can write 8x? So for this term, this is pretty standard, and you may not need to factor 8. So as you know how you can get 9x square out of 8x, so you have only one option, right? And the value on here is -9x square, right? So when you multiply these two terms, as the value of c is -9. So first you have to get a number where you can add and subtract and get back the value of 8x, right? So you can have you can distribute 8x in a way like you can write 9x, right? And then if you take out a x from 9x, then you will get 8x, right? But if you multiply these two terms, so positive 9x minus x, and you multiply these two terms, you will get -9x square, right? So you can write this term as, let me add a 0 everywhere. so you can find the value of x. So you write x square, the first term from here, then you distributed plus 8x as plus 9x minus x, right? So you rewrote 8x as plus 9x minus x, these two terms. So if you add and subtract these two terms, you will get back 8x, right? And then you have 9x on here, just write negative 9 equals to 0, right? So you have 9 over here. Now you have done the distribution of this middle term as 9x minus x, and if you see, you multiply these two terms, you will get negative 9x square. So multiplication of these two terms, right? But if you do addition and subtraction, you get back 8x. So if you do addition and subtraction for these four terms here, you will get back this x square plus 8x minus 9, right? So moving on to the next line. Now take out the most highest common number from each term. So first, with these two terms, take out the highest number that you can take common. You guys say distribution in the US, but in the British term we used to say common. Take out the common number from these two, right? So you can take only x from here, and that's the highest number you can take out. And then if you distribute that, you will have x here, and then you will have plus 9 here, right? So if you give back x again, multiply x again with these two terms, you will get back x square plus 9x again, right? Just to check we are doing everything correctly. So now for these two terms, take negative 1, because that's the highest term you can take from these two numbers. So you will have x, so you had negative x on here, but as you took common negative 1, so it the negative 1 went out on the outside. You will have only x, and this negative number will become positive, so it will become plus 9, right, equals 0. So first with these two you took common, then with these two you took common 1, right? Negative 1. So what you have now, you see these two term matches. This is one of the major factor of middle term. When you are doing middle term, you need to check whether this two term is matching or not. If not, then you must have done something wrong somewhere around here. So you have to go back to check what you have done wrong. So most of the time the kids, they tend to make mistake with the negative numbers, and they forget to take when they are taking common, they forget about the negative number and forget to take the negative and positive impacts. Like if you distribute back negative 1 on here, then you will get negative x minus or negative 9 on here, right? So just to check whether you are doing everything correctly. So the next line is, so this, you have these two common, you can write x plus 9. So you had these two common, you can write x plus 9 from these two term, and you had x on here and negative 1 on here, you can write x minus 1 here, right, equals to 0. So these terms became, this term came here and this two term came here, okay? Now the next line is figuring out the value of x. So how you can figure the value of x? We have to write this line separately, this line separately. So you have x plus 9 equals 0, or you have x minus 1 equals 0. Okay, this one came from here and this one came from here. Now, so for one of the value of x on here, x, you have negative 9, right? So if you add -9 on both this side, so -9 and +9 goes out, so you have only x here, and on this side you have 0 and -9, you only have -9. So one of the value of x is x equals to -9, and on here you have x minus 1, right? So on here you will have the next line. On here the value of x would be x equals to 1, right? So on here what you can see, so you add +1 on the both side here, +1, so -1 and +1 goes out, so you have only x equals 1, right? So now your middle term has been completed. You have the value of x, so x has two values. One is x equals to -9, the other one is x equals to 1. This is the completion of a simple middle term. If you have any question, please make a comment in the comment section, so I can, if you need more support to understand that, we can go over that. And in the next video I'm going to cover the quadratic formula, where the factoring all the or the middle term factor might not work, and you plug in the value of a, b and c into a formula, given quadratic formula, and from there you can find the value of x. Happy learning, middle school kids. Thank you.